Hello and welcome to Season 4 of the Sunday Podcast, presented by sportsshoes.com. I'm Ollie Lum.
And I'm Matt Seddon.
This podcast is all about elite distance running in the UK.
We're here to give you all the latest news updates around the sport,
as well as weekly interviews with athletes and coaches.
Stay up to date by following us on Instagram and X at Sunday Podcast.
And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel too, where we post athlete workout videos, shoe reviews and more.
Thanks for listening, and as always, we hope you enjoy the episode.
Okay, welcome back, guys. Paris finale coming up. The dust has settled, mate, hasn't it? It's kind of been manic the past week or so, and now it's gone, done and dusted.
It has indeed, mate. Olympic Games is over, and I mean, actually, I was listening to a podcast with Seb Coe on World Athletics, and yeah, they were talking about the games and how special it's been, and you know, and just basically our sport as a whole, how it pretty much is the best sport of the Olympic Games, and we all know that. I think in 2 days, they had more people go through that stadium and watch track and field than every single other sport combined. You know, the amount of people who watched the other sports. So I think that was super impressive. I mean, the fact that stadium was... I mean, I remember London being sold out like every day, but was it sold out for every single morning session? I swear I remember a few morning sessions not being quite, 100% full, but maybe I'm getting mixed up with the world champs in 2017, but it was just rammed. Like you say, they sold out 70,000 plus tickets every single session. I thought that was staggering. And again, to add to our sport, 105 different countries have medaled in track and field at the Olympic Games, and you just talk about global. I bet the next sport doesn't even come close to that. How many different countries have medaled in swimming or cycling, or and then you've got all the other niche things. Whereas 105 different countries have medaled, not even competed, medaled in track and field. It's just staggering. Obviously, one of those new ones was the javelin thrower from Pakistan, Nadeem. But yeah, so I just the games as a whole, man. I mean, I'm sure everyone is just super super inspired, like we are, and I think it's just so exciting now as it goes to. And I think the next few games lined up, like you think when it's going to LA. Like, how special is that going to be? Like, that is, and Paris. And then you think about Brisbane as well. And I think that'll be just as special. And so we're going to be, I think we're in for a treat. And we're in this very special era of especially distance running, but also just, track and field as a whole, because we're seeing records in the field. We're seeing, Sydney McLaughlin, people like that. It's crazy. I think it's a very good time to be an athlete and very good time to be like an aspiring Olympian, because I think there's more and more money sort of slowly plowing into the sport as well. We think about Grand Slam, we think, prize money seems to be going up a lot of places, and like I know we do moan about the sport, but I do think we are starting to see some relatively good changes, and I think in 4 or 5 years' time, athletes are going to be in a fantastic place.
I do think so. I think definitely at the top level in terms of people making these Olympic finals.
You know what?
You do
I
see
agree.
benefits.
In a weird way, I feel like the Ethiopians didn't have an amazing champs. The Kenyans, they were second on the medal table, right? But when you've got Chebet and Kipyegon, they're not going to be around forever, and like I'm sure they'll have a new talent coming through. But when you do look at those nations, like East African nations who used to just sweep, like, you get to the 10, the 5, and even down to the 1500, they would clean up the steeple, but they're not as dominant. And I feel like financially, like Europeans will be able to start to cash in now, because, obviously the big one, Europeans, and we are starting to see on the podium a lot more. You look at someone like Battlecletti and people like that, even in the endurance events, Grant Fisher in the men's side. But then also the sport gets bigger and bigger and bigger in Europe. Like, it's already big, but I feel like the spotlight's going to grow on these athletes because they're actually performing at major champs as well. They're not just going there and coming 10th, 12th, 15th. So I feel money there is going to grow.
Yeah, I think that's it, mate. I think the more the races become open to,
Yeah.
I guess, everyone competing, like all nations having a chance, it just makes it more exciting. I think particularly for people who maybe aren't your kind of core athletics fans, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. But then, I also just feel like the whole nation can get behind certain athletes and that filters down as well, and then every time, like for the men's 1500 now, I'm pretty sure like every time in the next 4 years anyone sees a Brit 1500 runner, they're going to expect them to medal at either a Worlds or Olympic Games, no matter who they are. So, even if it's not Josh Kerr, if we have the next person, you're going to be looking at them like, well, the standard's there, and it's a good thing, and sometimes it could be a bad thing. But I really do think it's a good thing, especially over the next, Olympic cycle, and stuff. So, I mean, mate, let's get into that women's marathon. It was an absolute spectacle, both marathons. I thought, I mean, we're going to wrap up our moments of the games, but I thought the marathons were just they really were 10 out of 10. The men's one was absolutely incredible. Obviously, what Emil Corres did was incredible. And then you look at yesterday and what Hassan did. I mean, it's just unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean Hassan obviously 5 and 10 in Tokyo, now the marathon um in Paris. Just that on its own would be a ridiculous stat. But then you throw in two bronze medals in the 5 and the 10 prior to this marathon, and you just it's it's unbelievable, isn't it? It's probably one of the greatest Olympic performances in
Yeah.
distance running, and I think what was so special about it as well is it was the riskiest way to do it in that she had to run a worst event first. Like if that went marathon, 10K, 5K, I know obviously the fatigue from the marathon, but it doesn't really matter because she said all along she's aiming for the marathon. That's the one she's really aiming for. And
Yeah, I
obviously
guess if you want to win the marathon,
you
she's
want it to
done
be
it.
first,
Yeah.
ideally. And I know obviously maybe it probably makes it impossible to even attempt if the marathon is first,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, at least you could wrap that one up, and then mentally it's fine. Whereas, I mean, every time she's kicking right for these medals, she's probably thinking, "Phew," or I don't know, I'd be thinking, well, here's my marathon chances going down the drain every time a surge goes in the 5K, in the 10K. Um, every move you must be thinking, whereas obviously most athletes are there and all they're thinking about is that race in that moment. I'm sure she probably was because she's that professional, but surely there's got to be a bit of, particularly like the 5K heat, right? She must have been, yeah,
Oh, I mean, but it's just like, the ups and downs as well. Like you get your medal, you then have to do media, then you then have to go, do your medal presentation and stuff. I know it's not like, but it's just all time as well, time on feet. I mean, is there such thing as a taper? I mean, Hassan's just proved that don't bother tapering, folks, because this is, you could clearly run exceptionally well. And again, funny enough, like the women's race, very similar to the men's race in that sense that they ended up with an Olympic record and they ended up with a very fast, like a fast time on that course.
yeah,
2:22, and her last 2K, by the way, Hassan's last 2K was only 9 seconds slower than Emil's. And she, people like Galetta or Ethiopia that Emil managed to gun down and outkick. She ran quicker than over her last 2K. So 6:45 she ran. So it was phenomenal, mate. It was phenomenal. She is a freak, and she just continues to impress. And you ask the question now, like, what next? Where else are we going to see this woman? What is she going to do? Is she just because, like I said, these challenges have kept her motivated. But I mean, can she do something crazy at the World Champs next year? But clearly, doing a marathon major is not. It's not exciting enough for her. But
yeah. She doesn't strike me as the sort of person who's like, I need to go out there and run the world record. Uh,
no, no, no. And
yeah,
yeah, she doesn't. And I
like
don't think you look in the near future. Where's your opportunity? Like maybe London. It's like a mill as well. Yeah, we spoke. Where are we going to see him next? Super excited to see what he does. By the way, actually, news on the men's marathon. Mohammed, I think I read ran on a bone fracture.
yeah, I saw that.
Fucking hell, mate. That is rough. Still ran 2:15 on that course. with a bone fracture. So that's a real shame, and I think we didn't get to see the true man Mohammed because um so it'll be again all these guys, where are they going to go next? Will be fascinating. But yeah, that women's marathon. I mean, Asefa as well. We were just saying actually, Asefa got second. Was good to see her back up her world record performance and not be like this fluky performance.
Yeah, I think so, mate. And because I think, yeah, we just it's a shame sometimes when obviously, I mean, I say it's a shame. Like you run a world record, that probably is good enough for a stellar career, you know. But for how kind of young she is still in the event, and things like that, we want to see her keep kicking on. We want to see the world record holder up there in kind of tactical races as well, because that's what makes it exciting, right? Like we want to be able to say, oh, we've got the best racer, we've got the best track athlete, we've got the world
Hmm.
record holder, women's only, we've got the world record holder, mixed race. We want them all in the races so that we can see who kind of takes the crown. And in this Olympic women's marathon, we basically had that.
Hmm. Yeah, and the men's as well. Like
Mm.
we
Yeah.
really didn't know Obiri. I know rumor has it Obiri had a bit of a shortened build post Boston into this one. You know, she's coming third, and yeah, it was basically the three biggest names, and Chip further back, but biggest names in world marathon running going head for head. And that's why I think it was so special. And I hope in LA it remains special. I hope the Olympic marathon always remains special. I mean, people moan about the heat and the courses and stuff like that, but way, way, way more exciting. It really is. I know it's hard for the athletes out there, but selfishly as fans, like I loved seeing a hill. I enjoyed the fact it wasn't a looped course as well. Because often Olympic marathons are a looped course and stuff. And for me, I guess like as fans, easier to watch, but the fans were just incredible out there. The whole way, 5, 6 deep. But yeah, I hope it remains, and I hope they continue to include it in summer games. And it looks like they might be moving it away from the World Championships down the road as well. They'll take it out and put a half in or something, or just remove it at all and add it to that World Road Running Champs they have.
Yeah, I think they have to keep this element of um, tough conditions, right? Because
Yeah,
otherwise, what is the point
it's a
in?
proper race. It's a true run race, and look, everyone's enjoyed that this Olympic Games, and unfortunately, the Diamond League starts back in 10 days. Not unfortunately, but yeah, back to pace races on the circuit shortly, mate. I think we've got 5 Diamond Leagues left: Rome, Zurich, Lausanne, the one in Poland, and Brussels, I think. Yeah, so we'll be back to the norm. No surprises.
Yeah, phew. I wonder if one day we'll ever see like we just get rid of qualifying times, right? And then we just don't need to, and
Yeah,
then
we've
it,
always said they should. I
we
mean,
fully transition to world ranking points, and so then we don't need paces in the Diamond League no more. Like,
yeah, honestly. But then you have the whole difficult getting into races and using your world ranking point. It gets awfully tricky. It really does. But I guess for an athlete, this is a great time for them to cash in, to turn up to these races. Um, especially if you got. I mean, think about the Rome Diamond League. You got someone like Battacletti returning there as a medalist in the 5,000. She get medalist in the 10,000. Sorry, she's gonna just crowd are gonna go absolutely nuts for her. And it is good that you put these athletes on show. So
yeah, and we talk about finances as well. The bonuses now, like if they were doing the Diamond League before, I'm pretty sure they can renegotiate their appearance fee now they've got medals. So fair play
yeah,
to them, like cash in as much as you can.
yeah,
Um, yeah, if you're Cole Hocker, right, you're just like, yep, I'm the Olympic champ, so
yeah.
give me a blank check and I'll write a number down for you. So yeah, it's good for the athletes, isn't it? Like I say, it's also good for the athletes who missed out, and I'm sure some of them, I guess it only goes one or two ways, right? Some who had a bad games or missed out, are like, okay, I just need to wrap up my season. And then you've got others that are like, right, I'm going to come and take some scalps post Olympics now.
Cooper Tier, mate. Coupeteur's going to turn up. He's going to be the man of the moment in these diamond leagues. I'm telling you. I think I mentioned the other night he looked good in the BMC Grand Prix. But mate, yeah, let's wrap up the I guess best moments of the games. It's a tricky one. I think the marathons were absolutely stellar for me. That men's marathon really was quite special. So I might even be tempted to just call that as pretty much my favorite race of the games.
Yeah, I think you'd be fair to say that for sure. I'm trying to think. There's been too many to think of.
The men's 1500
That's
delivered
what I
delivered on
lean
so many
towards
ways.
that. In some ways, it just feels too obvious, doesn't it? But
Yeah, it did deliver.
it
Agreed.
did. Yeah, I think, and in a way that I don't think any of us could have really like expected. I know we spoke about. I don't know. Maybe you did, mate. I know we spoke about Hocker and we were like, yeah, he is like an outside shot, but I still think, I don't know, for me anyway, he was still like best of the rest. Like
Mm.
I thought he might beat one of them and get the silver because they've run it out of each other. But did any of us think Jakob wouldn't medal? Like
No, 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 yeah,
that, do,
not
do you know what I mean? Like I don't think
really. Yeah.
anyone could have predicted how kind of crazy that race went. Like
Mm.
a crazy result would have been Kerr winning again, in a way.
Yeah.
A crazy result would have
Yeah.
also been, yeah, Kerr or Jakob getting bronze.
Yeah.
Um, but then, yeah, you throw in a Cole Hocker win, Jakob no medal, like, and the time they ran
Yeah.
for a race, it's probably got to be
Men's
that.
10,000 as well. Like that was pretty, it was a long time ago now, but 26:43, chapter guy, like that was a cracker. What the Ethiopians did, remember at the time, we were blown away by it. So, but yeah, I think, yeah, you're going men's 15. I'll go men's marathon. Obviously, I mean, it's probably a bit harsh of us not to say Keelian winning that 800, but I think from a pure race perspective and how good the races were when they unfolded and the drama, um, I think there was others out there which,
And I also think it highlights how much expectation she had.
yeah,
Yeah, we
mate,
just we
it's
we just all
when you go
expected
in
her
his
to win.
favorite, it is peak because everyone's like, oh,
Yeah,
you done what you're expected to do.
yeah.
Like
Whereas like performance of the games, like Georgia
Georgia
Bell,
Bell,
can you look past Georgia Bell for performance of the games because
yeah,
it's
from a
ridiculous.
GB angle, yeah, yeah.
I don't even think from a GB angle, mate. Like
Ah,
obviously, I'm sure
I
that
think
sure
people outperform Georgia Bell. I mean, Hassan, for example, yesterday's outperformed Georgia Bell, mate. What she
I
has
don't
done.
know.
But
I
anyway,
don't know.
we were looking today at more of Georgia Bell. Like I think 17, 1500s this year, a couple 3000s. Like she has had just an incredible year, and the fact that she's been able to just be at it for so long, but she's continued to get better. Like as basically every 2, 3 weeks that's gone by, I think she's got better and better and better and better. From indoors to where she is now, obviously
Mm.
miles better, but yeah, way to structure a season, way to kind of build through a season, and yeah, she's kind of shown that you can race a heap because she really has. I know a lot of them, like she went to World Indoors heats and finals, done 2 sets of British Champ heats and finals, so a lot of them, just to make finals, she's had to do a lot of races. You think if you make an Olympic final and World Indoors and you do your 2 British Champs, it's like, well, that's probably 10 races right there. So
Mm.
but yeah, the way she's been able to just cope at these, and Europeans, of course, the way she's been able to cope at these championships, having never been to one this year, has been incredible.
Mate, where does
So
she go next? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
where does she go next? I mean, it's funny. You look at the next cycle to LA now, and does she just, yeah. I mean, I guess she just does what everyone does, right? And just focus on world champs next year in Tokyo and try and win gold at some point. Surely Kipyegon is gonna start. I mean, we've seen it in the 5,000 losing out there. Like surely there's gonna be a few cracks coming from Kipyegon, like the way she's a triple. I mean, yeah, it's another crazy thing. Triple gold medalist over the 1500, back to back to back. Like, surely there's going to be a few cracks in her performances. over the next few years,
Yeah.
and then you're looking at like Hull and Georgia Bell and the Americans and stuff. Like, can they get amongst it?
You say that, I almost think it was just like a ridiculous performance from Chebet rather than necessarily
Yeah,
a
yeah, I
crack
think
in
you're
Kipyegon's
right. I think,
performance.
yeah,
That
I think Chebet was
and,
probably
and
just better than
which is
her.
why we saw her dominate the 1500 yet again, because
Yeah,
actually Kipyegon's no worse, right? It was just
yeah,
Chebet's kick was just brutal. And again, we saw it again in the 10. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. You make a
it's
good point, actually.
but obviously everyone's got to have a have a point where they stop, right? Like we've seen with Kipchoge obviously yesterday. Like that's it now. That's him done.
Yeah,
So I'm sure Kipyegon, yeah, at some point we'll just decide it as well to it's time to stop. So
yeah. Mate, we got to actually quickly. We didn't mention the obviously Clara Evans. I think she deserves a little bit of kudos yesterday.
mm.
Um, it just popped into my head, kind of wrapping up the games. Obviously, 46th, late call up as well, extremely late call up, and 2:33. I thought a solid performance from her. And Rose Harvey struggling, and obviously Thackeray DNFing. So not the Brits' day out on the course in Paris, but yeah, very strong from Harvey, mate. Chris Jones masterclass to get her there.
Yeah, I think it just shows you right. If you're a reserve, you just got to train as if you're going.
Especially in the marathon. Oh,
Yeah,
actually, even in the shorter distances. I mean, someone like Giles getting called in for Whiteman. Um, yeah, you got to haven't you? And I think it's one of these ones where no one's going to show their cards. Like Purdue is not going to make that call like 4 weeks out because she's just going to like bank on even if she doesn't do any training in the 4 weeks, potentially just making the start line healthy. And so it's so tricky for those who are reserves because you're not going to get that call till right at the last minute. And
yeah.
both obviously Giles and Clara, like it was last minute calls, wasn't it? So
That's it. I think at least on the track though, like you can still prep, and then you're like, well, if I
well,
don't
you've got
win,
races coming up,
yeah,
like
I'll
presumably.
jump in a Diamond League, right?
Yeah,
For Clara Evans, like I don't know if there's any marathons um, in August anywhere in the world, or at least
yeah,
not ones for someone of an Olympic caliber. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah. So it's good to congrats to her, mate, Olympian. So yeah, mate, that's the games. I mean, we've waffled on plenty of days about everything that went down. Yeah, we look ahead to the Diamond Leagues basically like Lausanne in 10 days time. And then we just roll on to the end of the season and see what happens. And yeah, it's going to be a telling time. I think next year with the Grand Slam, who's going to be announced for that? I think we're going to see loads of people announced now post Olympic Games. I think they're almost waiting for that. Like I think they were like, okay, Kerr and Sydney, they're locks. They're going to be around, but are we going to see the likes of Jakob? Are we going to see Femke? Are we going to see the matchups that we want? And of
mm,
course, it's not. We're going to see those. You mentioned about the eight runners yesterday. There's 800 guys. Like, are they going to commit to Grand Slam knowing they've got to do a bloody 1500? Because
Giles could be cleaning up, mate.
Giles could be cleaning up.
Giles and Whiteman might be the two best in the
Yeah,
world, right?
like a lot of those eight guys will not want to go anywhere near a 1500.
Mm,
But maybe that's unfair because we don't see them do a 1500. But
yeah,
they do the odd one or two. Like Arup does the odd one to open his season and stuff. But you are committing to them over the course of the year. So, um,
yeah.
but mate, do we want to wrap up the winner of the contest as well? Because some interesting picks, and we got to shout them out.
Yeah, I can't remember the name now. I believe it was Monty Watson. Apologies if I've got that wrong. But so yeah, you should have been sent an email if you're listening. If you haven't been sent an email, just message us on Instagram or email us at info@sundaypodcast.com. But yeah, they got eight correct answers, and they were the only person to get eight. A few people had seven. Um, and then quite a few had sort of like five. I think that was kind of the average. It's a weird one because I kind of had a look at look at how people would have got on if they had basically just gone for the
Favorites.
the number one, right? And I think it worked out as about six. Um,
Really?
so it is a pretty safe bet going for those. Like you finish quite high, and then
Hmm.
as we always say, there's always sort of like two or three upsets, and it's just predicting who gets those upsets, right? Is the
Yeah.
one uh is the one who gets it right. So yeah, fair play. Well done to our winner. And obviously, thanks for everyone for entering and stuff because it
Yeah, he
is
did.
good fun, mate. And do you know what? I was thinking about this last night, mate. I think we should try get something in for Liverpool because we've never done a prediction contest on the cross country before.
Cool.
We'll have to work out how the mechanics would work of that on a Google form. But you're like
Mm.
predicting, seeing how many people could predict, I guess, out of 12, the British team, right? We could do that. Um, we could
Yeah,
do something
what, men's
around
and
that.
women's top six, couple short course
Yeah,
races, maybe something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, we could. That would be good fun, mate. I'm just trying to go back to Monty's answers because it was do you want to kind of bait him and say the ones he lost out on? Did he put Lizzie Bird in the steeple and Kieran McGinn in the 15?
yeah. No, those are the incorrect ones. But
Could
then,
have got 8 for 8, man. If he just put Kip Yeagon in the 15
mm,
and
but at the same time, it got points there for calling Cole Hawker and things. So obviously,
yeah.
then obviously if Kieran McGeehan goes and wins it, then you're like, oh, it's an amazing call. Like, so do
That's a crazy call, yeah.
you know what I
I
mean? So
guess.
it's
But Lizzie Bird, I mean, that is a crazy call. But yeah, fair play to him, mate. Eight. Oh, sorry, was it 6 out of 8 or 8 out of 10?
8 out of 10, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10, man. That is big. Jesus.
I
Hope
think
he,
that's the
hope he
first
backed
time we've not had
himself.
to go down to a tiebreaker
Tiebreak.
ever.
Mate, what was his do we know his predicted time over 5K?
Actually, it wasn't great. High 12 minutes, I think.
Really? Do you know
Uh,
what I predicted 13:12.9 and they ran
Mate, Katie had
13:13.
13-13.
Shit.
Yeah, she was close. She's like
Just had a
point
feeling it
two,
would be
point
like
two
that.
out.
Yeah.
She messed up her guesses though. So
Didn't we all, mate? I did terribly as per
yeah, I think you were four, mate.
4 out of 10. Fuck, that is such a
I
shot.
had six. Trying to think of people who get high. Ricky Harvey had seven, so congrats to him. Um,
Yeah, close one. Unlucky, Rick.
um, and I seem to recall a good 5K prediction as well, you know. Um, so, but yeah, that's it's all the fun and games of it though, isn't it? So, yeah, thanks everyone for entering. We'll try sort of something out for Liverpool because I think that would be pretty cool. And yeah, Liverpool's one that always throws up some rogue ones. So
Yeah, that's the real test of who knows their domestic racing, mate.
yeah,
Olympics is too easy.
well, it's clearly not. That's the
Yeah, absolutely not. I don't know why I'm saying that. But yeah. All right then. Well, we will see you back Sunday for a main episode with hopefully a few guests who have been at Olympic Games.
yeah, absolutely. That's the plan from now on. So thanks for listening to these Paris episodes, but we'll catch you very soon in our normal format.